Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Ben, and if you're looking for a water chiller for your cold plunge, then stick around. You'll want to see this one. Now before I get started, I want to let you guys know that this is a non-sponsored video, so nobody is paying me to actually put this video together, and I actually paid for this chiller on my own. So having said that, let's get to the review. Unlike a lot of videos that you'll see online, we are not reviewing a brand new product. In fact, I've actually had this chiller for about 5 to 6 months now. And so this is going to be more of a long-term review on this chiller to let you guys know, hey, how does this actually hold up? Is it still worth it? And is this something that maybe you should shell out some money for? Now, Warrior Willpower, they've been around for a couple of years now. You've likely come across them already. They were previously known as Spartan Willpower. They just recently went through a name change. But they do sell some very good water chillers, some tubs and accessories at a very reasonable price compared to their competitors. All right guys, so let's talk about price. Now this retails for $1,800. With my promo code, you can get $200 off and it'll bring it down to $1,600. That's not necessarily cheap, but let's put in perspective of other chillers. So when we're talking about other chillers, we have like the standalone chillers. A 1.5 horsepower standalone chiller, say for instance from Active Aqua, that will run you about $1,000. But then you add on the price of the pump and the filter and the hoses and the fittings, and then that's going to cost probably around $1,400. And then on the opposite side, you have these all-in-one chillers that are about $3,500 from, say for instance, from Sunhome Saunas, which all have these pretty much the same features as this, just marked up quite a bit more. So when we talk about $1,600 for something that's all-in-one, that does everything, it has built-in sanitation and multiple ways of cleaning the water, it makes it seem like a much better value overall. Again, it's not cheap, and I won't say that because $1,600 just to make cold water, I mean, that's a good price tag, but when you compare it to a lot of the other options out there, it starts to look a lot better. Now, Warrior Willpower, they do have several different options as far as these chillers. There's this 1.5 horsepower, they do have a 1 horsepower, and they have a 1.5 horsepower chiller. Now, which one is going to work best for you? Well, honestly, that really just depends on how well insulated is your cold plunge. Because I tell people this all the time, that if your cold plunge isn't insulated well, it's going to take a really long time to get cold, and it's going to not stay cold for very long. And frankly, it's just going to run up your bill. So if you have a cold plunge like I have the Ice Barrel 300, which has excellent insulation to it, it'll maintain the temperatures, and this will be able to cool it no problem. In fact, it's almost overkill in its ability to keep the water cold. If you live in a very hot temp climate, say like Arizona, something like that, a 1 horsepower chiller or higher would probably be my recommendation in that regard. However, for me, this works perfectly. Now, one of the coolest features of this chiller is that it has built-in Wi-Fi, and so you can actually use the Smart Life app, and you can set this on any sort of timer and schedule that you want and put it at any temperature that you want. That, or if you just simply want to turn it on, you can do that as well. So that's a really neat feature that it has included with it. It's not necessary to have it, but it's really one of those like nice-haves. In my opinion, one of the most important things about a all-in-one water chiller like this is the ability to actually keep the water not only cold, but very clean. And this unit does an excellent job at doing that. It actually has one pre-filter, it has a 20 micron filter, and it also has built-in UV. So the UV, of course, is going to kill any of the bacteria. And with those 3 different things there, I mean, it's going to keep all the debris, hair, all those things out of your plunge, but it's also just going to keep that water so it's not cloudy, murky, dirty, slimy, anything like that. And so I found that in that regard, this does a really good job at doing that. Now, changing the filter on this thing, that's really going to depend, as far as the frequency, it's going to depend on how much you're using this cold plunge. So if you're somebody that's hopping in every single day, I'd probably expect to change that filter out every probably 3 to 4 weeks. If you're just doing it a couple times a week, then it should certainly last a little bit longer than that. Now these filters, you can actually take them out, rinse them off, clean them up really good, and reuse them. So that's kind of the nice thing about that. As far as noise levels, this is pretty much on par with any other chiller that's out there. And I can't tell you, it's pretty similar to say like an outdoor AC unit, the condenser outside. You know, the fan, when it turns on, it's a relatively large fan. It exhausts a lot of heat. And so it's kind of noisy in that regard. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. The pump, if it's not primed properly, can be a little bit noisy as well. But overall, it's not too bad. But if you're looking for something that's ultra quiet, then, you know, I just don't want you to be disappointed. If you're wondering about the connections to this chiller, they are 3/4 inch connections here, and it comes with all the hoses and the attachments for that. But if your cold plunge doesn't have 3/4 inch screw-on connections, that's something to keep in mind, that you might have to find something to kind of convert that. Another question that I see a lot of people ask is, can you actually leave this outside? Now you can. It is rated for outdoor use. However, having said that, I tell people this all the time, that you want to keep these things protected. I mean, the investment on these is pretty steep. You're spending a lot of money. So why would you just leave it out in the rain and leave it to the elements? Because you know eventually that's going to cause some premature wear and tear on it. So, you know, it'd be kind of like your iPhone. I mean, they say it's waterproof, but there's no way you're just going to keep it in water all the time. So the same would be said with this. I would keep it covered with some kind of umbrella or table or something like that, just to add a little bit of extra protection. I mean, it can definitely get wet, but I would just avoid that as much as you can. Just preserve the overall lifetime use of this. Okay, so that pretty much sums it up for this review. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. Also, if you want to save yourself $200 off any product from Warrior Willpower, I do have this promo code that you can use. It is an affiliate link, so it will help support the channel, but at no extra cost to you. I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.